Once celebrated as hip-hop's wealthiest mogul with a business empire estimated at over $1 billion by Forbes just 2 years ago, Sean Diddy Combs now finds himself in a stunning reversal of fortune, sitting in a Brooklyn jail cell, held without bond. The man known for a life of excess, with his fleet of private jets, yachts, fur coats, luxury cars, and a $50 million Miami mansion, is now trading it all for a prison jumpsuit. His former lifestyle of glamour and indulgence has been stripped away, replaced by mounting lawsuits, FBI raids, and a federal indictment that reads like the plot of a crime drama. How did one of the world's richest and most well-known rappers, the epitome of success, wealth, and swagger, end up bunking with crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried? The catalyst for Diddy's downfall was one of the women who had been part of his glamorous yet tumultuous life. On November 16, 2023, R&B singer Cassie Ventura, his longtime girlfriend, filed a lawsuit that would send shockwaves through the entertainment world. The accusations were so explosive that a trigger warning was issued on the first page of the legal filing. Cassie accused Combs of rape, sex trafficking, and years of brutal physical and psychological abuse during their 10-year relationship. She detailed savage beatings, triggered by what she described as Diddy's uncontrollable rage. The suit also revealed a shocking underworld of days-long drug-fueled sex sessions involving male sex workers, a practice Combs reportedly called freak-offs. Diddy's public image, once invincible, began to crumble. Although Combs vehemently denied the accusations, the lawsuit was settled almost immediately. The next day, the world learned that Combs and Cassie had quietly reached a settlement, a deal that appeared to close the chapter on their troubled history. But the allegations had only opened the floodgates for others to come forward. In the week following the settlement, 2 more women filed lawsuits against the music mogul as the deadline for New York's Adult Survivors Act loomed, a law that had temporarily extended the statute of limitations for sexual abuse cases. On November 23, Joy Dickerson-Neal alleged that Combs drugged and raped her when she was a student at Syracuse University. Just a day later, a second lawsuit was filed by Jane Doe, later identified as Lisa Gardner. She accused both Combs and R&B singer Aaron Hall of forcing her into sexual acts when she was only 16 years old. Combs' legal team responded swiftly, dismissing these accusations as a blatant money grab. His attorneys argued that the women were only after financial payouts, but the public was beginning to see cracks in the empire. Within days of the third lawsuit, Diddy stepped down as chairman of his cable network, a direct result of the growing scandal. Corporate partners began to distance themselves from the once revered mogul, and his business empire, built on the pillars of music, fashion, and liquor, started to show signs of collapse, and the lawsuits didn't stop. Another Jane Doe soon came forward, alleging that when she was 17, Combs and 2 other men drugged and raped her. This time, the suit alleged a coordinated effort to silence her. Combs denied all allegations, posting a broad statement on Instagram that he did not do any of the awful things being alleged. He vowed to fight and clear his name, but the pressure kept mounting. A month later, a male accuser stepped forward. Music producer Rodney Jones claimed that Combs groped and sexually harassed him, and even forced him into sex with prostitutes. Combs' legal team responded once again, calling the allegations falsehoods meant to destroy his legacy. But with each new accusation, the public's perception of Diddy grew darker. The legal drama took a dramatic turn on March 25, when federal agents raided Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami homes in what Homeland Security described as part of an ongoing sex trafficking investigation. The raid was a surreal scene, with tactical gear-clad agents and armored vehicles storming the rapper's mansions. Among the items seized were firearms, including AR-15 rifles with defaced serial numbers and a high-capacity drum magazine. 2 of Combs' sons were home at the time and were briefly detained. Combs' legal team complained about the aggressive nature of the raid, calling it a gross overuse of force. The federal indictment against Combs was unsealed soon after, revealing a pattern of criminal behavior that spanned decades. The indictment painted a chilling picture of a man who, for years, used his wealth, power, and influence to control and exploit those around him. The document accused Combs of operating a criminal enterprise that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. His freak-offs allegedly became infamous, multi-day sex marathons involving multiple commercial sex workers, and a variety of narcotics like ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which were used to keep victims compliant. As the legal noose tightened around him, more disturbing details surfaced. Just days after the federal raid, yet another lawsuit was filed, this time by a woman named Thalia Graves. Graves accused Diddy and his head of security of raping her in 2001, claiming the incident was recorded. In her statement, Graves described the deep emotional scars left by the assault, saying the pain of being violated left her with internal wounds that never fully healed. Diddy's team has yet to respond to this suit, but with every new accusation, the world watched as the man who once symbolized power and prestige spiraled further into disgrace. The federal charges against Combs only grew more serious. He now faced a series of charges including racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and the transportation of individuals for prostitution. The federal case alleged that Combs had orchestrated a complex criminal network to keep his illicit activities hidden for years, silencing victims and witnesses through intimidation, bribery, and violence. As the case unfolded, it became clear that Diddy wasn't just fighting for his freedom, he was fighting to preserve what was left of his legacy.
Combs issuing his first and only public apology.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry.
In the months that followed, more victims continued to come forward. Members of his former girl group, Danity Kane, publicly accused Combs of psychological and physical abuse, with Dawn Richards sharing her own traumatic experiences while working under his control. Cassie Ventura, the woman who had ignited the legal firestorm, issued a statement expressing her gratitude for the support she had received, but warned that this was only the beginning. In early September 2024, Diddy appeared in Manhattan to prepare for a federal indictment. Exclusive photos surfaced of him with his attorney and son in Central Park, smiling as if nothing were amiss. But just days later, his world came crashing down. On the night of his arrest, Homeland Security agents approached him at the Park Hyatt Hotel. Surveillance footage captured the moment Combs was led out in handcuffs, flanked by agents, while his legal team expressed outrage that he was not allowed to turn himself in voluntarily. Since then, Combs has been denied bail twice. Judges deemed him a threat to the community and a risk for obstructing justice or intimidating witnesses. His attorneys continue to fight for his release, arguing that the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he is being held, are inhumane. But for now, Diddy remains behind bars, awaiting trial, a once invincible icon now facing the full force of the law. The federal indictment's first paragraph encapsulates the gravity of the case, accusing Combs of decades of abuse, coercion, and threats to protect his reputation. The indictment details a web of criminal activity designed to cover up his actions, and the world will be watching as one of the most powerful men in music confronts the legal battles that threaten to dismantle his empire for good.